Hello, my family. So, we went to the doctor this morning. Thank God that's over with. I spent more time waiting to see her today, honestly, than we went through anything that what was wrong with me. So, we got major snow on one end of the world. We have major flooding right now on my end of the world, and I really can't get out much. So I thought this would be a good day to have coffee time with y'all, share a little bit about who I am, especially for those who are new, and maybe it'll help people understand what I'm about. I don't think I think I've done a few videos about what I'm about, but not in full depth is how do I know that, or how do you know that I can relate to you? So I think this would be a good day. Snuggle in, grab a cup of coffee, y'all, and let's get to know each other. Alright, my y'all. We'll start out first as hi. My name is Carrie, and this is Parton's Mediterranean Homestead. We have flipped a few times from the beginning of what this homestead was about, as we originally started out as Parton's Heritage. And then we went to Parton's Mediterranean because a whole lot of things have changed since we started this channel. And it's been, I think, 3 years now, y'all, that we are fixing to be up and running around here. It's been definitely some rocky roads. That's for sure. To start out who I am, I'm just an individual just like y'all. Honestly, I have literally been through hard times like you. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. None of my family was. And we had it rough. However, it taught us some really good skills that I am so thankful for. We didn't have a rich, fancy lifestyle. Absolutely, none of us kids had anything. If we wanted it, we worked for it. Nothing was ever just given to us. We did have a few things that were helped by my parents, but we didn't depend on them. We like to be independent, and I am thankful for my parents to teach us that independence. My mom is the one who gave me the lesson skills into cooking as it started. And somewhere along the line, I picked it up because it was just like it was embedded into it was flowing through my veins and embedded into my heart. And it took off with that one. But it took me a while to get fully into where I'm at right now. I had to do a lot of things as a kid, I guess. And growing up, I made my very bad mistakes. Honestly, I never treated this body good. I was at one point drinking an awful lot. Thank God I gave that up. And that's due to the husband that I'm married to now. He helped me through that one. I was never really, say, in fancy homes. We lived in homes that we had a nice roof over our head. Just like this one. It's not fancy, y'all. It's far from fancy. It's a very simple house. It's got a whole lot more work that needs to be done to it. But with the cost of living, our bills and materials, we make do with what it is. But we're content right now with that. So, after I got this little hair up my tail end, I guess, growing up, and who's, like most of us do. and it was time for me to be on my own. And yeah, I went through a lot, and I'm not going to give my full details testimony on everything I went through, but I will tell you, my husband and I, we discussed it the other day, and honestly, I don't understand how I can have the heart that I have. And all I can say is it is definitely God, y'all, because at this point I'd be a very, very bitter person if it were left on my own. So at that, I will say I have had several times, literally, when I say homeless, I'm not kidding, I was literally homeless. One time sleeping in tents on a riverside. We didn't have a home. We had homes taken from us. We had things that had happened that left us in a position where we couldn't, this was our only option. We'll just put it that way. So I have been there. And in some ways, call it pride, whatever, I'm really grateful that I didn't turn to my family to bail me out. Because sometimes situations like that were hard lessons to learn, but they made me who I am today. And I'm just going to say that. It has definitely made me who I am today. And I'm going to bring that upon you here in a little bit. Why was that? We eventually started improving. We ended up getting into our own roofing business. And we started getting to better positions in our lives. And then my husband had a heart attack. And that shut that down. So here we were now. What were we going to do? Now at this point, my husband decided that we were going to go ahead and we'll start trucking. It seemed like a logical thing to do at the time. And at that point, yeah, some of you have been around to remember old photo bomber over here, Smokey. What are you doing, darling? No, get down. Anyways, so we got into trucking, and sooner or later we went from company driving, because I just found that, you know, I am gifted in a lot of things, y'all, and I stuck with driving the rig, and I was really impressed with myself to do so. But there were certain things that told me, put on the brakes, because this is not for you. There's just some things you do in life that you just know that this is not the thing for you. So before matters got any worse, I backed down. But I still rode with my husband over the road, because there was other various jobs that I could do to help him. So we eventually, at that point, we started saving up to own our own rig. We managed to find this house in the midst of it within 10 years. We literally lived in a little small box in a truck, because the place that we were living in, all our kids at this point were grown on their own. Some of them were even married. And we ended up losing yet another house, because the lady that we bought our home from, which was on her property, her husband had passed away. She had flipped. Lord have mercy. She flipped. She was this Christian friend of mine. And long story short, she got the house, and we were now homeless again. So that rig was our home on the highway. The interstates was my home. Every truck stop was my shower. In restaurants, oh, it was awful. And I learned how to cook. Here was those skills, those gifts. I learned how to cook like I do at home here on that rig, and helped save our life there. Still, we were not eating as healthy as we are today. Eventually, we found this house, and I, within those 10 years, got off the road. My husband continued to stay on the road, but at this point, y'all, now mind you, this was about 5 years ago now, 5-6 years ago. I will just say that we started seeing a downside in the business, especially for owner ops. And I kept telling my husband, we need to get out while the getting's good. I had this gut feeling, and I kept telling him, we need to get out while the getting's good. Freight. We were barely getting any freight anymore. It was just, the freight was so cheap. We were lucky if we even paid for our fuel. Then the truck started having issues, and then here comes the resources we had to keep. We ended up getting loans, and it was getting out of hand. At one point, I thought we were going to lose this house. At this point, I ended up having a nervous breakdown. I already have PTSD because, honestly, y'all, I've been through a lot of abuse. A lot of abuse. And PTSD was setting in, and anxiety was getting out of control. I was trying to find ways that I could get my husband work. We couldn't find any loads. He was stuck in California, and at this point he was ill, and I understand. He was been sitting for weeks, and for us, if those wheels were not turning, we were not earning. So at this point, we made sure that whatever income was coming in, I had to make sure that he was at least fed, because he was operating this truck. But then that meant there were sacrifices. We made sure that he was fed, the bills were met, but there was no food for me. And one day I just snapped. I ended up, this house was gutted. Oh, Lord have mercy. We were living in a camper outside this house because it was not livable. The electricity was not running. Wires still needed to be fixed. It had burnt areas where the place burnt. And so it was gutted, completely gutted. What you see here, we built. So I sat down, and I'll never forget it. I sat down, what is our dining room in here, right there in the middle of the floor. And y'all, here I was, 50-something years old, bawling like a baby. And all I could say is, Lord, what am I supposed to do now? I was hungry. There was no, I've been to places where there's a food pantry somewhere. Y'all, at this point, my pride was out the door. I was going to go to the food pantry just for anything. But in this town, there was none. Not a single pantry to be found. Nowheres. So I said, okay, this is where the testing begins. And I had to think, y'all. But before I could think, I honestly prayed, what am I supposed to do? Well, there was one thing that my husband did, because first of all, we're in a strange state. We moved from the state that we had been together in for so many years to here. There was nobody, absolutely nobody we knew here except for the one we bought the house from, but they were very busy. I had somebody reach out, and they helped me where I could get some groceries. And I knew at this point I needed to start doing something. And I had one item that was brought to my mind. It was my protection. And it was because my husband felt, here I am by myself. He did not want me here alone. And so he got me protection. And I thought rationally, like, it was either do or die situation. So truthfully, I sold my protection. And he was not happy about that. But let me tell you what I did with that, because this is what led me to where I'm at today. This was 7 years ago, y'all. So at that point, no, that was 8 years ago. It's been 8 years already. So anyways, I sold that. I got a few groceries for myself to help keep me going for as long as I could with what I had already had. And then I bought some seeds. I did. I bought some garden seeds. I don't know what came over me, but I just had this desire, very strong desire to buy garden seeds. It was going to be, well, it was late spring, first of all. I mean, I was so late in the season doing anything. And this ground, this is when I learned how bad our ground was. For every time I put the shovel in the dirt, there was garbage coming up, whether it was some kind of metal to a tractor part, or dishes that was shattered and busted out here, to car parts, door screens, or whatever else. And I'm thinking, what did we just buy? I seriously thought we bought a landfill. And I knew I really couldn't grow here, but I did my best. So what I did is every shovel, I cleaned out the trash and kept tilling this, and I was sweating. I was still trying to get used to the weather here because this is so much different here than it is in Tennessee. Yeah. You talk about somebody who was enduring. I finished my plots and I planted a few tomatoes. And I think I did some cucumbers. I can't remember everything I planted. I think I wanted to try an artichoke. That was crazy. I wanted to try an artichoke. Okay, so long story short, on that one, the artichokes never survived. I did get a few tomatoes, but remember, this was late in the season, so naturally, I didn't get much. I did manage to go buy some of the plants over at the co-op that I had found here, and so I got a few from what was out of those plants. But it got me thinking, if I could do this, what more can I do? And I just couldn't stop thinking. So I started building up on doing raised beds. Then I got into thinking, the room on this property, I wonder, chickens. And I started researching on homesteaders. I started researching on self-sustaining lifestyles. And do you see the pattern that's happening here? And it's almost as if I was led. When I say I was led here, it's because of where I came from. I came from nothing. I came from what was I going to do to help myself without relying on anybody else, because personally there wasn't. I couldn't get food stamps. We weren't getting any loads. Times was getting hard, and I needed to do something for myself. So as we started growing, we were building on this house, and then we decided after we could get so far here, we decided to build some raised beds. It started out, some friends of ours came and they brought some materials of like pallet wood, and we made this. And eventually each year we grew, because we started now deciding to take our taxes every year and invest into this place to be self-sustainable. And it was working. It was absolutely working. So while my husband was doing what he could do in trucking, I was sustained. I had, if anything else, I had vegetables. This is when I decided to start learning about canning and dehydrating, because if I could preserve what I had, maybe then I could keep going. And this is when my husband turned around, called me one day, and he said, "Babe, I can't do this no more." And all I could say was hallelujah. I was missing him to pieces. It was not working. It was costing us everything to keep this truck running. And he parked it. He gave back the trailer that we were leasing out on our truck, quit the company, brought the truck home, hung up his keys, and we put it up for sale. Now that took us over a year to sell that truck. Now remember, this is at the time now where the economy was just starting to go sour. And so we, after what I had already started, and we started here, my husband started seeing, hey, he said, "You did a good job around here." He said, "We're able to hold our head up a little bit." And I'm thinking, yep, we sure are, because now I'm not really going hungry. But there was a lot of improvements. So we sold the truck, and what was the price from that truck, we literally paid this house off. And that was a huge relief to pay it off. We paid off the debts that we owed on the motor that we had to get fixed on this truck, and that was another relief. But it didn't leave anything left over like we would have hoped. So it was back to the drawing board. My husband immediately was able to find a local job. That was our saving grace right there. It's almost as if, honestly, God walked every step that we took, and he had every door open for us, but just not immediately. At this point, this is when we actually started getting taxes, and then we started hot and heavy building into this place. And now you talk about self-sustainable lifestyle. We were actually doing that. We were getting our own eggs. We were able to hit sales and stock up our freezers. We bought a chest freezer. We started putting it in there, and we became to the point is we were not going to go hungry again. I remember those points, and I remember some of my most embarrassing moments when I was hungry. My family don't even know what I did because it's too ashamed. I'm too ashamed to even tell them. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So I did what I had to do. And I'm here. I mean, it made me who I am today. I can reach out to a whole lot of you. You really just don't know. I have been there. You may see me now here on YouTube and think, well, she has no idea what it's like to be in my shoes. If you only really knew how much I do know, because I do, and I have been there. I worked hard, very hard to be where I'm at today. And then all of a sudden, now see, this was before I even had, this came in after I had my cancer, y'all. I knew that my body was going downhill, and I actually needed to do something. The way we were eating on the road was not even healthy, and I was actually getting scared. I was packing on pounds, and it wasn't of good food either. This was from bad stuff. And so I knew that something had to change, but I didn't change. We knew that before when my husband had his heart attack, but it didn't click. And then just one day it all clicked. And our biggest scare after my husband had stopped driving, thank God he was not driving at this point. He was working locally. He got diagnosed. Now this was about 3 years ago now with diabetes. And that was our huge reality. Very big reality. And this is when we knew we had to change it all. And we started doing the drastics, the low carbs and all, and it worked. It absolutely worked. We got him off of medications, but it also helped me. But there was some major downfalls. The simple fact is you have to stay on that diet because, y'all, I'm living proof. I got down to 158 pounds, and here I am. I'm plateaued right back up to almost 200. So, and it did not take long. So there is a side effect to losing all that weight really fast. But here's the second one. I stressed out my body. And do you know when you stress out your body like that, it builds up cortisol? Do you know what cortisol does? It builds up fat. Didn't know that at the time. So now I'm on the gym and all that. But y'all, I did Mediterranean for several reasons. I got tired of the yo-yo diets. I got tired of being tired. I got tired of searching all the time. One day I opened up my Bible and I said, Lord, what is the right thing for us? And I started reading where people had their mills, gathering wheat, doing farm work, animals, and I'm thinking, this is farm life. This is absolute farm life. And the more I read in the Bible, I was like, are you trying to tell me something? I did. I just stood there thinking, are you trying to tell me something? And in a sense of it, he was. Going back to when times were good, before all the preservatives, before all the mass productions of food. We relied on ourselves from our own ground, our own animals, and we baked and cooked for ourselves. And that's when I started learning more about my grain mills, milling my own flours, and that's when everything changed in our health to a 180-degree turn. God knew what he was doing when he was leading me before I even knew it myself. To the point today at the doctor's office, that was a good discussion today. Now, mind you, for the most of the time that I've been living here, up until a year ago, I had been almost 220 pounds. My blood pressure was my blood pressure was always roller coaster high levels. There was just, it was no doubt about it. My cholesterol, Lord have mercy. Oh, my LDLs and my cholesterols were well over 200. My LDLs were close to 200. HDLs, yeah, they were so low, it's pathetic. And so I was being looked at as a case like everybody else. She pretty much told me, you need to be on cholesterol medication. If you keep this up, you're going to be diabetic. You keep this up, you're going to have a heart attack. And frankly, she was right. I was smoking everything. March, y'all, next month, the end of next month will be a solid year since I had a cigarette. That's amazing, because I was smoking 2 to 3 packs a day. And one day, she got me so angry at her. And God love him. Between her and my precious brother, I do love that man to pieces. But him and my doctor annoyed me so bad, I quit just to show them to. But it was the best thing I ever did. So I'm grateful to them. They knew how to push me, because honestly, I'm very, very stubborn. I just have a stubborn, I don't know if it's the Norwegian in me or what, but I am a very stubborn person. And so I end up giving that up too. I breathe better. I taste better. I can smell better. And just everything is so much different. My oxygen levels started coming up. Now this was just the beginning. That was just my first step in changing my life. And so they noticed my blood pressure was starting to come down some. And we started with the low carb, and that worked great to get my husband off. And I did it to support him, but I lost a massive amount of weight. Again, these are some things I learned just don't do because it's too fast. But it's not for everybody. And so for me and my husband, it just wasn't for us. We found the alternatives, just doing everything naturally. And that's what the Mediterranean, how we came about with the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean is a natural lifestyle we can absolutely live with. Even though I'm plateaued where I'm at, I found out today, for my age, I am a very strong and healthy woman. My doctor is highly impressed, and when she did my blood pressure this morning, she actually became quite alert for the first time in my life, y'all. Now my top numbers were just slightly high. It was 122, but my bottom number was 65, and I have never reached that. And she told me, if you get to a point where you're going to pass out, you better contact me, because my blood pressure, and I had no coffee this morning, y'all. None. I missed my coffee. In my opinion, I was just going to go there, get this over with, and come back, because it was just a review anyways. As far as the swelling in my legs, and many of you have been asking, Miss Carrie, how are you doing? I'm letting you know. The swelling in my legs, good old, this is going to sound funny. Okay, y'all, so Walmart has the cutest socks called Mucklucks. They're compression socks, okay? I can't. I'm too old for this crap. So, anyways, I got these little fuzzy, daggum, there, see, Mucklucks. Ow. Anyways, I don't bend like that no more. Oh. Okay, so they're compression socks, and they're working perfectly. So, yeah, that works. And we took care of that. She's not putting me on the water pills or nothing like that. She's actually going to leave me alone. As far as blood pressure medicines, the one thing she did say is she is really thankful that she did not put me on those or cholesterol. Because I brought my cholesterol levels to 121. And that's the lowest I've been ever so far. So she's going to leave me alone. And I respect her for not trying to over-medicate me, because I'm proving to her, and the reason she's being like this. Now here's a secret for y'all to know. My doctor came right out and told me, and I said, why all of a sudden you're not pushing me no more? because she was, oh my gosh, she was pushing me for everything. And then just, I guess when I started changing everything, she stopped. So I had to ask her, I said, why did you do that? She said, because you started doing something for yourself. She said, you proved to me, you and your husband both proved to me and his doctor that you cared about yourself enough. And so we wanted to see where you're going to go. And she said, and we're highly impressed with both of you. She said, and I said, so basically you thought I didn't care, so you didn't care? She said, yep, that's how it works. Oh, yeah, did you catch that? So they treat us how we feel. Okay, so for instance, if we get to a point in our life that we don't care, we're just gonna, whatever, give me what you're gonna do. That's how they do it. That's how they'll do it, because they're gonna accommodate us. They're not gonna really push, although they push. She pushed, but she's a doctor. She had to do what she had to do. But if you do something for yourself, her attitude to me changed dramatically, and it's been changed ever since. She doesn't even push me anymore. Matter of fact, for the first time ever, it was nice to hear her say, I am proud of you. Y'all, after being with this lady for nearly 4 or 5 years now, for her to tell me, I'm proud of you, that was as if my world shifted right there. And it gave me inspiration to keep going, because that is amazing for a hardcore doctor like her. And I will tell you, she's pharmaceutical all the way. And she told me, I don't want to touch you. That was cool. So I'm still doing good. As far as I checked the water, this is funny. Okay, so the excess water that we were having, y'all, they did check my heart. She said my heart is extremely strong. Thank you, Jesus. There is absolutely nothing wrong with my kidney or my liver either, so that was a good sign. My issue is, y'all, I stand up too much. I can't, okay, I don't sit down. So my issue is because I'm standing up too much. And my husband, when he heard that, he started laughing. He was with me this morning. He goes, that girl never sits down. He said, I even beg her to come sit with me, and she just don't do it. So it's because I'm putting too much strain on my legs. And that's all it was. And so we're going to learn to balance. But I'm hoping that this testimony, it's not hardcore, y'all. I mean, it is a little bit more about me to let you know, honestly, y'all, I'm just like you. I have been through it just like you, and you don't even know half the stuff that I have been through. I already told my testimony about how I even got shot and survived that, and the questions that I have is, why am I even here? What is my purpose? And so maybe my purpose is right here, doing what I'm doing with you. It feels right. So I chose to do this because I figured when it came to me, if this helped us, how many more can it help? And I had so many people telling me, Carrie, you need to grab a camera and you need to start a YouTube channel. And I laughed it off for a few years, y'all. I could have been on here a lot sooner, but I seriously laughed it off. Like, really? Me do this? Right. And so here I am, because everything proved to me that what we are doing saved our life, literally, from starvation. It saved our life health-wise. I made so many friends who relate to me, and because usually when you're living in a world like this, y'all, you feel very alone. Nobody understands you. I mean, I was living in a world where I was afraid to tell anybody anything, because you look at their homes, or you look at their lives, you look the way they dressed, and they were going out to eat, and here you are hungry. There was nowhere to turn. There was no pantries, no nothing. Who are you going to talk to? You don't have anybody around here. I was too ashamed to call anybody, and I definitely wasn't going to call my family. So I had to do something. And it relied on me, a pack of seeds, a shovel, and a prayer. And that's how Parton's Mediterranean Homestead started. And I do not regret it. I have beautiful raised beds today. I am very much self-sustainable. We have had everything that could hit us. Grocery prices, shortages, and y'all, because I listened, because I was determined, because I followed the most amazing guidance I could have ever gotten, we survived everything that has come our way with comfortability and stayed healthy the whole time. This is why I teach you. It isn't to say that I'm better than you. It's to say I've been like you. I still am. Honestly, I'm not rich at all. I wish I was, but I'm not. I just take and used our finances wisely to get where we're at. But it helps so many others. And so I'm grateful for that. But I want you to know today, and I know this is a long video, y'all. It's just, like I said, a very bad rainy day, and everybody's being snowed in. So it was a good day for a testimony. Just to let you know, you're not alone. You're not alone at all. I have been there, and I am really no better than you. I have my problems just like you. And you know what? I relate to people like that. There's a bond, because it seems like the world just pushes us away. The world don't know us, but we do. It's nice. I call you family because it's nice to know that I have somebody who can relate to me too, y'all. This has been a lonely world. You have no idea. I have been here going on 8 years, and I really don't have any friends here because I'm strange to them. I do things that people don't do. They're not interested. I don't sit at fancy restaurants with them and coffee shops, or I don't relate to them when they have their birthday cakes and their parties and the food that they eat. We can't. And so nobody wants to understand us until a hard time comes. You'd be surprised how many people know me then. But even at that point, I'll share. I mean, I share with y'all every day, and this is why, because I believe that it's beyond just, I can't say that I tapped into a miracle medical cure-all, and no, what I tapped into was the simplest way of living, the healthiest way of living, the most effective way of living without stressing your body to the max. Am I happy to be plateaued where I'm at right now? Yes. And why could I say that? I'm not super chunky, but I'm not super thin. But I do carry myself well. I am strong. I don't have to worry about overstressing. My hair is back to normal. My skin is back to normal. And I am not, I actually asked my doctor today, I did. You can ask my husband. I looked right at in the eyes and I said, can I live now? I gave up this. I gave up that. I changed the way. Can I just live now? And I said, and I know you're going to take that pen and you're going to put overweight on my chart. And I told her, I said, I love you, but I hate you. She started laughing at me. I said, we have a love-hate relationship here. And she told me, off the record, on the record. On the record, medically, they're supposed to put that down. Off the record, she said, it's just a number. She said, you carry yourself well and you look great. She said, stop stressing over it. So, y'all, we're going to live. But I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. if I'm going to live, this is how I'm going to live. So I'm going to eat my bread, but in a healthier manner with fresh milk and focaccia. Oh, Lordy mercy, that focaccia is good. But I know how to moderate the amount too. I'm not going to gorge myself, y'all. I am going to go to the gym, and I'm going to back off a little bit on the high intense training, because personally, I'm not 20 years old no more, and that crap hurts. I'm just going to tell you, my muscles are still sore. So it's one of those, I think I screwed up moments. So it's kind of low intense for me. If I feel froggy enough, I might do a little more, but I'm active. The whole idea is to be active, just not super crazy active, because just because I feel good doesn't mean I'm 20 anymore. I wish I was, but I'm not. So I have side effects that I'll suffer for later for being stupid. So I have my moments, y'all. I'm not perfect. And I just revealed some of my duh moments. I get them. I can't help it, but I get them. So, and I get giggly sometimes, y'all, because I laugh at myself. If I can't laugh at myself, then I'm just gonna cry. So I'm just gonna have fun. I'm too old for this. I have been through so much in life that it's time to live. I'm tired of just surviving. I just want to be happy. So I share what I share with you in hopes it'll help somebody else. And I'm hoping that me speaking today will allow you all to know how real I am with you. How I have been honest the whole entire time. I don't want to be fake. I've got no reason to get on here and just try to do a show. I mean business. I really desire to see people healthy. And one of the biggest reasons why, and if you want to see a very much down to earth lady, I'll tell you why. I told my brother something that really lays heavy on my heart today. My mom was very sick, and she was put through a lot with the medical field. I didn't learn all of this till much later in life. And I often wondered if what I know now would have saved her life then. And I honestly believe that. My mom was strong-hearted like me, headed and everything, but what I know now would have saved her life. And I'm just going to be honest with you, the most honorable moment in my life right now, God had a purpose for me to learn everything that I have, because I have an opportunity right now to help somebody else who's very near and dear to my heart. And it's because of everything that I was brought through, led through, tested, that I'm actually there for the second person in my life, very, very close to me, and I'm able to help them so they don't end up like my mom. And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for that, y'all, just as much as it saves me. So sharing with you gives me the opportunity to say that you are my family, and I am very grateful that God led me here so that I can be there for the rest of my family, because every one of you is the next life saved that wasn't in the past. If I'd have known then what I know now, I wouldn't be as sick as I was either, and neither would my husband. I don't want to keep seeing us sick. We all need and deserve a chance to live long, healthy lives. We're just not being told how. It takes those of us who are being led to do this to know how to do that. and I don't want to be greedy. I share here because greed is not upon my lips. Joy, happiness, and sharing is. So I know I don't relate to everybody. I'm used to that already. That's the reason why my friends list is very small. But it doesn't stop me, because somewhere, someone out there is really turning around and absorbing this, and it's being effective in their life. So I'm going to continue to keep doing what I do, no matter what the numbers say. Just like my doctor told me today, it's just a number. What matters is you. So I hope that this section right here, y'all, yeah, I hope that this helped you understand who I am, why I do what I do, and let you know that, y'all, I have been there. I absolutely have. I lived in situations I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't even know how I was going to pay my bills. But somehow, and I know the truth to it, that somehow was the same God who saved my life. He's been with me the whole time, and he was using me to be here for you. And I'm grateful to that. And I'm going to keep doing what I do. Now, would you like to know what the next thing I'm going to be looking into? I love soft pretzels. When I was a little girl, Mama used to take us to the mall. And the first thing at the mall that I would always do, I loved Annie's. Oh my goodness. Annie's soft pretzels. These big old salted pretzels that you dip in that cheddar. Oh, that dripping cheddar cheese. I have missed that. And then I found out that I literally can make these with fresh milled flour, y'all. So I am going to be doing more research and testing to make some soft pretzel bites so that I could dip them in my cheddar cheese again and have them for a snack, but on a much healthier level. So I'm getting excited for that. And then again, I'm going to be looking into making focaccia bread using fresh milled flour as well. I had done focaccia for folks who don't have mills, so there was an opportunity for you at that point. You could use your bread flour, you could use the Italian flour, but you could make focaccia. And now I'm going to be doing a segment for those who are with us who are fresh milling, and we're going to be doing some different options on that and see how well these work on top of sourdough with fresh mill. So I have a lot more content, y'all, and I need to make some more microgreens. I kind of, okay, confession to my family is this. I get giggled, y'all, because I'm telling on myself. I don't know why I'm even doing that, but I'm telling on myself. So, y'all know I like big trays of, yes, I'm wearing my big frumpy. I love this thing. This thing is entirely too big for me, but I just love it. It swallows me up, and I was like, I feel like a teddy bear. So anyways, so y'all know I love my microgreens. I've made 2 trays. Y'all, I gotta make another one. I got a number 3. Look, I think I'm just like the chickens. I just packed it dry. So, yeah, I got to do some more microgreens. And then I'm going to do one that I just had an aha moment. I'm sitting here on a gold mine. I showed you all that not only am I using my grains to mill for bread, but I also found out I had been sitting on a product called Farro, and now I find out that actually these same grains I can make wheatgrass, which is an amazing booster. There's a lot of wheatgrass shots out there that is like having a superfood rush through your body. And I could grow that too and juice it and make pineapple banana smoothies with wheatgrass. Oh my gosh, y'all. There's so many good things I could do to this body, and I'm going to share them with you. So I am going to be making some more microgreens because, well, I just kind of went through this one and I need another batch. And then I'm going to do some wheatgrass, and we are finally reaching a point, y'all, that we're going to start our summer seeds. I'm going to first start with our herbs. When I go doing these, which is going to be very, very soon, I'm going to set up the video and we're going to plant seeds together, and I'm going to let you know basically at this point what I'm planting, because that's what we're going to be growing this year. And then from there, when the harvest comes, I'm going to show you how to take care of them to preserve them. And then naturally we're going to do like we've always done. We're going to cook some of the most amazing meals ever. This channel has got a long way to go, y'all. We are not going to be losing content anytime soon. I love you. I'm hoping that I found an opportunity to relate to many. I'm hoping that you could relate to me now. And hopefully we can embrace each other as family at this point, and knowing that I'm not some girl who just can buy all these things. She's this rich thing she'll never understand. I know more than you think I do. And I did this one day at a time. Everything that we have here on this homestead, y'all, is a Johnny Cash song. I got it one piece at a time. But unfortunately, it cost every dime I had. So there's that. But we did it with our taxes. And so there's the truth of it. Every time our taxes came in, we reinvested into our homestead because we felt like this was something to invest in. For once in our life, we were no longer homeless. For once in our life, we have a place nobody can take away from us. For once in our life, we can't get kicked off of our property. If you knew what that feels like when we lay down at night, there's a peace that overcomes us so much that I could sleep with ease for once. Because all my life, especially with my husband and my ex, that was the worst mistake I ever did. The only blessing came out of that were my 2 sons on that one. But I had been through so much. And for once, I have safety. It feels good to know that we are living in a place that we could call home. And now I can build up on it. So yes, I can relate to you. It took me 50-something years to get here. And I'm grateful for everything. And the knowledge and the wisdom that I gained in that journey is absolutely amazing. This, y'all, is why I share with you. I was giving so much of a gift. The Bible speaks of gifts of many different things. Some people get the gifts of tongues. Some people get the gifts of wisdom and knowledge. And some get music. And God gave me wisdom and ability. He gave me knowledge. He gave me wisdom. He gave me endurance. Very much so, endurance and strength. And He gave me the ability to absorb learning and then sharing, because I am filled with so much love in my heart, not just for myself, but for so many. I want to see others. Look, y'all, today at the doctor's office, here was a major reality that I get to look at in a different eye now. My appointment was at 9:45 this morning, and I kid you not, I didn't get to see my doctor till nearly 11 o'clock. The caseloads are enormous. The waiting is atrocious. It's because there are more and more sick today. And if I can help ease some of that, let's go. I'm all for it. So I'm here with y'all, and I'm going to continue to keep doing what I do no matter what the numbers say. Coffee time, I love that time with you. I just love sitting down with family and friends. So at this point, I'm going to let y'all go because I do got to get some work done. I love you dearly, and I hope this testimony maybe reached out to somebody and just hit your heart like it does mine with you. So I love you, and until next time, y'all, much love from Parton's Mediterranean Homestead.